Hello friends, welcome to AKS. Today we will discuss the important updates from the Press Information Bureau for the first week of December. National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. In pursuance of the judgment of the Supreme Court, the government has decided to set up a bench of the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal NCLAT at Chennai. Let us look into the details of this. Benches of National Company Law Tribunal NCLT are set up in various states depending on the caseload and other relevant factors. Therefore, considering the heavy caseload at some existing benches, additional members have been appointed and additional courts have also been operationalized from time to time. Now, let us look into some details about NCLAT. The National Company Law Appellate Tribunal was constituted under the Section 410 of the Companies Act 2013 for hearing appeals against the orders of the National Company Law Tribunal NCLT. NCLAT is also the appellate tribunal for hearing appeals against orders passed by NCLTs under Section 61 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 and also orders passed by the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India under Section 202 and Section 211 of the IBC. Any direction issued or decision made or order passed by the Competition Commission of India are also to be appealed in the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Next, Corporate Affairs Ministry launches the Independent Directors Databank. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs, with the objective of strengthening the institution of independent directors under the Companies Act, launched the Independent Directors Databank in accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. What are the details of this? The data bank can be accessed at the official website of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. It is an initiative of the ministry to provide an easy access and navigative platform for the registration of existing independent directors as well as individuals aspiring to become independent directors. Powered by an integrated learning management system, the various e learning capsules and videos available in the system will enable individual users to acquire knowledge from diverse resources, develop distinct skills, and assess their understanding of company operations, regulations, and compliances. Companies may also register themselves with the data bank to search, select, and connect with the individuals who possess the right skills and attitude for being considered for appointment as independent directors. The data bank is expected to become a comprehensive repository of both existing independent directors as well as individuals eligible and willing to be appointed as independent directors. So it is not only for the people who are presently as independent directors of companies, but also who are prospective independent directors. Their database is also maintained. The Databank portal has been developed and will be maintained by the Indian Institute for Corporate Affairs. IICA is a first of its kind initiative from the ministry. It provides a wide array of e learning courses on various topics, including the Companies Act, securities laws, basic accountancy, board practices, board ethics, and effectiveness. Next, a new museum of antiquities proposed to be open in Purana Qila. The Archaeological Service of India will set up another museum to house objects evacuated from across India which have been lying in the Central Antiquities Collection at the Purana Qila. What are the details of this? The museum will be housed in the arched cells of Purana Qila. Central Antiquity Collection Section is a center for housing the collection of antiquities explored and evacuated by the Archaeological Survey of India. These antiquities date back from the prehistoric period to the post-independence era. The objective to open new museum is to display antiquities such as tools, potteries, terracotta beads of semi-precious stones, sculptures, architectural fragments for general public, students and research scholars. The museum is proposed to be opened by April 2020. So let us try to know what is this Purana Qila. Purana Qila is built on the banks of river Yamuna and is the oldest fort of Delhi. Please remember these facts. It has been said that the fort was previously built by the Pandavas for their kingdom Indraprastha, as some grey ware of that period was found during evacuations. The massive gateway and walls of the Qila were built by the Mughal ruler Humayun, and the foundation was laid for the new capital, Deenpana. Next, the Vice President of India recently launched the Bharatiya Poshan Anthem in New Delhi, which aims towards taking the message of making India malnutrition free to all corners of the country. While launching, the Vice President hoped that the Poshan Anthem will lead to a nutrition revolution to transform India into a malnutrition free country by 2022. The anthem was conceptualized by the Union Ministry of Women and Child Development and has been penned by noted lyricist Prasun Joshi and sung by Shankar Mahadevan. Next, the Vice President launched the new rotavirus vaccine, Rotavac 5D. Rotavac 5D was designed and developed by Bharat Biotech. The vaccine would be a great help in tackling the spread of rotavirus that causes nearly 8,72,000 hospitalizations and over 32 lakh outpatient visits and an estimated 78,000 deaths annually in India. What is this rotavirus? Rotavirus is a virus that is most widespread reason for severe vomiting and diarrhea in infants and young children. The genus of double-stranded RNA virus is the Reoviridae family. It has affected virtually every child in the world at least once before the child attains the age of 5 years. In the case of rotavirus, the affected person develops immunity with every infection so that subsequent infections are always less in severity. However, adults are hardly affected by the virus. So this is rotavirus mainly affects infants and children below the age of 5 years. Next, Election Commission of India is set to implement the political parties registration tracking management system, that is PPRTMS. The new guidelines will be effective from 1st of January 2020. Accordingly, the PPRTMS will be implemented through an online portal to, to facilitate tracking of status of application by applicants. The salient feature in the political parties registration tracking management system is that the applicant, that is, who is applying for party registration, will be able to track the progress of his or her application and will get the status update through SMS or email. So, in India, the registration of political parties is governed by the provisions of Section 29A of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951. The party seeking registration under the said section with the Commission has to submit an application to the Commission within a period of 30 days following the date of its formation in the prescribed format. Next, let us look into the Mahila Kisan Sashashtikaran Pariyojana. The Department of Rural Development is implementing the Mahila Kisan Sashashtikaran Pariyojana to empower women in agriculture by making systematic investments to enhance their participation and productivity, as also to create and sustain their agriculture based livelihoods. The project aims at improving the capacities of women in agriculture to access the resources of other institutions and schemes with the convergence framework. The Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare is also providing additional support and assistance to female farmers over and above the male farmers under various schemes, namely Agri-Clinic and Agri-Business Center ACABC, integrated schemes of farmers agricultural marketing ISAM, submission of agricultural mechanism SMAM, and the National Food Security Mission NFSM. Next, India and Sweden signed the Memorandum for India-Sweden Healthcare Innovation Center. This center, in collaboration between Swedish Trade Commissioner's Office and AIIMS Delhi and AIIMS Jodhpur, aims to develop an ecosystem of open innovation that startups and the healthcare delivery stakeholders can use to collaborate and address current and future challenges in healthcare sector. It will operate on well-defined challenges and services for stakeholders to build capabilities and methodologies and help socialize and scale up innovative solutions across the country's healthcare delivery network. A holistic view of innovation shall be taken, which shall include technology, data, protocols and processes, skill development, and business models. The key components of the center to drive innovation are innovation challenges, incubation, mentorship, life center of excellence, skilling, global reach, conferences, digital showroom, white papers, and support to access capital resources. Next, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has formulated and is implementing a national action plan for drug demand reduction for the years between 2018 to 25. The plan aims at reduction of adverse consequences of drug abuse through a multi-pronged strategy. The activities include awareness generation programs in schools, colleges, also workshops or seminars with parents, community-based peer-led interactions, for vulnerable adolescent and youth in the community, and provisioning of treatment facilities and capacity building of service providers. The ministry also implements a central sector scheme for assistance for prevention of alcoholism and substance drug abuse, under which financial assistance is provided to eligible non governmental organizations based on recommendations of state governments or union territory administrations for running integrated rehabilitation centers for addicts to provide composite integrated services for rehabilitation of addicts, including adolescents. Next, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by the Prime Minister of India, has approved the government's plan to create and launch India's first corporate bond exchange traded fund, that is the Bharat Bond. The fund will provide additional source of money for central public sector undertakings, central public sector enterprises, central public financial institutions, and other government organizations to meet their borrowing requirements apart from bank financing. WHO Working Group meeting on developing standardized terminologies in Ayurveda, Unani, and Siddha, the draft documents on terminologies, has laid a firm foundation for the globalization efforts of these three Ayush systems. What is the Standard International Terminologies documents? This standard international terminologies documents reviewed here were developed by WHO as part of its global strategy to strengthen the quality, safety, and effectiveness of traditional and complementary medicine. The documents are expected to provide the list of terms in the respective systems, definitions, including the contextual meanings of the terms, classical usages, references, and suggested English terms, synonymous, and exclusions, if any. The documents cover terms related to basic principles, fundamental theories, human structure, function, diagnosis, pathologies, patterns, and body constitutions, as well as the miscellaneous terms of the respective medical systems. So, what is a possible impact of the move? The standardized terminologies will facilitate better communication between practitioners of modern and traditional medicine and support integration of traditional medicine into the national health system. These documents will be of immense utility to other health professionals, medical students, and relevant researchers also. The traditional medicines are an important integral part of the Universal Health Coverage Program, especially under the Sustainable Developmental Goal 3 of the United Nations. Next, the Northeast Rural Livelihood Project is a World Bank aided project launched in the year 2012 and was being implemented by the Ministry of Development of Northeast Region, that is MDONER. The main aim is to improve rural livelihoods, especially that of women, unemployed youth, and the most disadvantaged people by building community based organizations and developing a partnership with government and other institutions for knowledge, skill, credit, insurance, extension, and market. The major achievements of the project are more than 10,000 boys and girls were trained in various job skills. Many households were covered through formation of SHGs and a number of village federations as well as formation of community development groups. As a result, women have become more enterprising, resulting in increase in family incomes. Next, the draft National Logistics Policy has been prepared in consultation with the Ministries of Railways, Road Transport and Highways, Shipping and Civil Aviation. The vision of the proposed policy is to drive economic growth and business competitiveness of the country through an integrated, seamless, efficient, reliable, green, sustainable, and cost effective logistic network leveraging the best in technology, processes, and skilled manpower. India's logistics sector is highly defragmented, and the aim is to reduce the logistic cost from the present 14% of the GDP to less than 10% by the year 2022. In order to simplify the documentation for exports and imports through digitization, the Department of Revenue, the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs have taken up several initiatives like SWIFT, that is Single Window Interface for Trade, adoption of digital signature, 24 by 7 customs clearance, and import data processing and management systems, and e-Sanchit, as well as two new IT modules, that is ICE Dash and the Atithi app for electronic filing by passengers for baggage. The PCS 1 and 2, which is a platform for port related processes developed by the Indian Ports Association, has also been one of the initiatives. Next, Ekal School Abhiyan. Recently, the Prime Minister admired the role of Ekal Vidyalaya Sangathan for leading the Ekal School Abhiyan in nation building by imparting education and awareness to more than 2.8 million rural and tribal children who reside in the remotest locations across India and Nepal. The Sangathan has remarkably promoted the education amongst rural and tribals through Panchatantra model of education that includes promotion of nutrition through Vatikas, training for biofertilizers used in farming, imparting skills for using medicinal qualities of herbs, training for employment, generation of social awareness. This also helps in realizing Gandhi's ideals of Gram Swaraj, social justice of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Antyodaya of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, and the ideology of Swami Vivekananda's dream of a glorious India. Next, National Florence Nightingale Awards. The President of India presented the National Florence Nightingale Awards to nursing personnel in New Delhi on the occasion of International Nurses Day. The World Health Organization has announced 2020 as the Year of Nurse and Midwives. 2020 will also mark the 200th birth anniversary of Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale was the founder of modern nursing and was born on 12th of May 1820, and hence this day is celebrated as International Nurses Day all over the world. These awards have been instituted by Government of India in the year 1973. They are named after Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing and the very icon of selfless care. The award carries Rs 50,000 cash reward and a certification, as well as a citation certification and a medal. Next, the space agencies of BRICS nations have been negotiating a framework agreement to formalize the cooperation on building a virtual constellation of remote sensing satellites made up of satellites contributed by BRICS space agencies. The plan was first mooted by China to improve cooperation around natural disasters. The purpose of the proposed virtual constellation is to get access to satellite remote sensing data, which could be used by individual BRICS nations for various applications, including natural resources management and disaster management. Thank you. Have a good day.